Hello everyone, welcome today. Whoever has joined the stream, I hope you are all staying safe at home and maintaining social distancing. Today what we are going to do is we have a small AR demo which we created at home. I sort of created this for my children, and we are just going to go through that demo and also show you how you can actually build your own AR demo at home. Uh, a brief introduction about myself. My name is Sushmita Chatterjee. I'm the founder of Learnroll Immerse. Learnroll Immerse is a company which is building supplemental education as well as content which relates to sustainability that can be useful also for the industries. So this is what we really do, and I started this company about a few years back, essentially leaving my corporate job. I have been in the IT industry for more than 30 years, and what I really like about what I'm doing right now is that a lot of these immersive technologies that we have is so relevant right now with the kind of situations that we are in, where students need to learn more as well as they need to be involved more into building more nice and interesting things, being playing with them, as well as to keep themselves in this kind of a lockdown situation. So before I just talk about what is augmented reality and what is virtual reality, I would just like to give a brief about how we are going to do this session. So essentially, I'm just going to talk a little about what this particular demo is. I'm going to show you the demo, and after that, I'll just give a very brief walkthrough of how we are going to really, if you had to do this demo yourself, because some of the solutions that we are using, these are not free softwares, these are essentially industrial AR solutions, but it is definitely easy for you to create using your own tools, or even this tool, because the developer version is free right now. Unless you are really putting it on a store, you can actually build these solutions even at home. So if you're a parent, you're a student, or you're a teacher, you can definitely try them out at home, and also let us know how you've been able to use it. So we are going to try to have sessions per week. Some of these sessions will be essentially our product demos, and some of the sessions will be just things that you can do at home, interactive, using augmented reality, using virtual reality, using things that are easily available from home, if you have a VR device. So without delaying too much on it, I'll just start explaining a little bit about what exactly we are trying to do and what augmented reality is really about. So augmented reality is a technology, since our goal has mainly been to enable technology for mostly education, supplemental education, whether it's in a makerspace or whether you use it in classroom, and essentially now when you're using it at home. Uh, like at home, I'm also a mom, and seen my children having a difficult time, especially a lot of the after school classes have been closed. Some of the online learning, they are having issues learning, they're having issues understanding. I would also like to talk about this huge community, and I don't know if any of the teachers have joined in or are part of it, is that the AR VR in Edu, where I've got a lot of information about different kind of tool sets that is available, globally. Because sometimes you know about a certain tool, or which is more well known, and you don't know about certain tools. So this is a very good place for us to know that, without especially products which are not marketed too much. my criteria, choosing solution is, it's totally based on how the users use it, what is the kind of tools that they would prefer to use, and also based on how easy it is to deploy these solutions, and how easy it is to support it. To give you an analogy, for example, if you're building a bridge, so if you look for somebody who has already built a bridge uh, for a very long time, he knows all the essentials about the bridge, in terms of, whether the bridge is going to break or the bridge is not going to be able to sustain that. So essentially, if you're going to build an application that is more scalable, then you have to take into analogies, take into best practices, take into things which you have a good understanding, or you have a pattern for it. So I'll just show you what our demo is. I want to thank my daughter, because she gave me the idea about creating the coronavirus, making it more engaging. A lot of us have been trying to get information through various websites, like the WHO website or the CDC websites. So what she has told me is that she called it like the COVID devil. So essentially, what I did is I created the COVID devil. The solution that we have today with augmented reality uses a little bit of the advanced uh, kind of devices. So right now, like you can see in my hand, the device that we actually built this application on, which is the Android device. It has Oreo, which is one of the operating system here, and it has it is a AR capable. Essentially, the underlying technology that it uses is AR core. Similarly, I also have a iPhone, and this is also a AR capable device. So it uses technology called AR Kit, and essentially it allows you to do a lot of AR. Some of the older phones do not allow you to do that, and AR has been there for a very long time, and you can actually use some of the web AR capabilities, and hopefully we can show some of these web AR capabilities in some of the sessions that we try to that we want to live stream every Friday. So just let us know. We don't want it to be a boring session, since you're going to be there for half an hour. That whether you like this format, or you would like something better. This is not really a workshop, because I'm just talking. I'm not really interacting much. Basically, end of the questions. It's more of to just give you a preview of what exactly this. It's too boring just to talk what we are doing and what our product is. But mostly when I talk to teachers or students, they're very interested to know exactly how we built it, or what was the idea behind it, what was the design behind it, what was the approach behind it. So I've just tried to do it more in terms of giving a little bit of perspective on the technology, and a little bit of the coding steps that you can essentially use yourself. So what I'll do is I'll just show you the demo right now, and then we'll just go ahead a little more and talk a little more in detail uh, about the technologies behind it, what is the prerequisite for it, and how can you build your own AR.
Hello, my name is Sushmita Chatterjee. Today we are going to show you an AR demo. Right now, if you see here, there are two targets, image targets. One of them is a coronavirus picture, which I printed directly from the internet. The other is already a pre-made target, which I got from the vendor's targets. So let me just show you how we are going to create this. This was created totally at home. Okay, so here I just move my phone directly to the images, and you can see that the models have popped up. So here we have what we call a coronavirus devil, and as you move the images, you can see that it's tracking it. It uses a particular technology where it's able to detect where exactly the paper is moving, and the model moves accordingly. So there you can see it, and I can take a closer look at the coronavirus here with the devil. So there is a coronavirus and there is our devil. So we can keep our devil now happy and look at the other target. Well, this target is a video target. So what we've done is, it's a simple paper, and we will show you how the coronavirus really looks. Most of these images we have taken from the NIH, so it is credited to them, but we can definitely look more closely at the virus. So this video is directly a link to my website. So it's actually a URL which is playing right now on my couch. It's a cool way of using augmented reality to learn at home. So if you see the green over here, it's basically the video showing how long the video is there. Any URL can be posted here. Thank you so much. Hope you really enjoyed our demo.
Hi, hope you liked the demo. This is a very basic demo, and it can actually be extended to a lot of different kind of interactive features, like you can have a graph explode there. You can actually have people running around, the entire scene, because this particular technology has advanced. So we are using a tool called Euphoria. So the undercore is basically a device, a AR core device, that is our Android phone. And on top of it, it uses two different kind of technologies. One is called SLAM technology as well. Another is what is called a VIO technology. So these two technologies are essentially combined, and that allows you to have a very stable AR that is very useful, especially, if you don't want, those kind of situations where you're finding it very hard using a mobile phone to trying to track it down, or, it's oversensitive, or, the object is lost very quickly. So we tried using a lot of tools, and this was one of the tools that sort of worked very well. You don't really need to be an expert nowadays to build solutions. I remember those days when I used to work with COBOL programming, which used to be like 30-40 pages of code. Nowadays, computing is not necessary for people only who are working with technology. Computing is for everyone. So even if you are a singer, you can actually write down your own notes, or program it. So programming is essentially, I feel, something that extends to whether you are a singer or a teacher or a scientist, or you're just a student who just wants to build certain different things, and you can have your own idea to come up with this. And most of the platforms nowadays, even if you don't know coding too much, you can start with what I usually do, because I did not really know augmented reality and virtual reality technologies, is to start with what is called boilerplates, or go to typically any website and get quite kind of a starter template, to work on, and then start building new features into it. the features maybe for yourself, or you're building it for a product. Because if essentially if you're building anything for yourself, you're the customer yourself. So whether I want to build a list for myself, where I can keep the number of grocery items that I am going to use. So if that doesn't work for me, then my product didn't work, because I was, I can be a judge of my own. So similarly for different products too, whether you're building it as a commercial product, or whether you're building it for yourself, the same principles work. So I'll just talk about a little bit of the tech now, in terms of what are the prerequisites to build just what I built, which is a very basic, almost no coding kind of a environment, with just like a few lines of code. But what is really important is not just the lines of code, but what exactly is the integration points that you have. So I'll just try to put myself off and get the uh, my platform up. So hopefully all of you can see here. We have a Unity platform. So just to give what exactly is Unity. Unity is a cross-platform engine. Since we use it also for building a lot of VR. It is also very useful for building any kind of application, whether you're building a Android app, whether you're building a game, whether you're building a AR app. The only point is that how do you manage to do everything through one platform, is the ability to integrate to various kinds of other softwares. So in this case, we, like I said, we used industrial AR solution, a professional AR solution, which is called Euphoria. 2 years back, I did a workshop with some students, and they had been asking me what are the different kind of tools that we have. There are different kind of tools. It is not necessary that you have to use the tools that I have. You can actually go to the internet and search. A lot of different kind of tools are available. Some of them are open source tools, and some of them are tools which are commercially available, or some of them essentially they give you the software using a free license, a free trial. So whether you're a small business or a big business, or you're a freelancer, or you're a student, or you're a teacher, everybody needs to really do proof of concepts. Without proof of concepts, you really don't know whether what use cases you're building is appropriate or not for that platform, because that platform may not have those entire features that you're trying to build. So Unity has been a very standard platform. Like I said, you have to look into the patterns, and what different kind of use cases are. So Unity and Unreal Engine are sort of like the de facto standard in building a lot of the native applications. As well as some of the web AR, web VR. But for web AR, web VR, I think you also have very strong frameworks from Google and from Mozilla, like the A-Frame or 3JS, which I personally like a lot, because they're very also extremely simple to use, and with just a few lines of code, you can really do a lot of stuff. So I'll just go to the platform now and just show you a little bit. So here is my platform. So you can see that right now, I've just opened a very basic uh, project. So what I've really done is, since I did not want to really, we just have too little time, and I did not want to go through the entire, details of it. This is a simple project. So anytime you create a new project in Unity, this is the kind of interface you would have. Uh, I just created something called AR camera, but I'll explain to you later on that, how you go about it. So now if you want to create an app like I did, and you want to sort of put in different kind of features in it, what you would have to do is you would have to go to the asset store. What is exactly an asset store? An asset store is a place where you can get different kind of uh, utilities or programs or different kind of software that you can actually help you build a AR application. So like here, this is what we used. We used something called Vuforia. And like I said, when I usually start any new applications, I usually try to uh, really go and use the starter templates. Whether I use whether it's Vuforia or whether it is Oculus or Google or whatever platform that I'm using. One of the best first step is to really go and find out what is their starter templates, what are their tutorials, and start with it. So this is one of the libraries that you would require to develop, and like you see I have already imported it, so it is free, so anybody can just go ahead and download that particular library. So once you download the library, you will be able to start working on your application. Now that is what I said, like you have to be very important. The important thing about building an app is the integration points. So here I have a platform and I'm integrating it with another software which will enable me to build a AR app. So what I do here is that I can actually go to my menu and see that whether I have successfully downloaded the software or not, and here I am. So I do have the software here. It's called the Vuforia engine. I've been able to successfully import it. And once I import the engine, I will be able to build different kind of AR applications. So like right now, what we showed you is something called an image target. So we showed you two types of targets. One was something which is like already a pre-built target, which we tried on. Like I said, we always do a boilerplate. So we just tried on already pre-existing targets and found how AR worked, and it worked very well. Then we created our own. So what we did is we just went, took to the CDC site, took out an image target, and then we went to the NIH site, and they had given a very nice model about the COVID, and we just got that particular model to use for us. So similarly, we have a different kind of functionality here. So you can see here that we have things like a multi-target, a cylinder target. Each of these different way of building the AR application can really go very detailed. Then something which we have is called like a model, the object, or a 3D scanned you know uh, objects. So you have different way. You can scan essentially an image. You can scan a object, already an existing 3D object. For example, you went to a store, or you saw a particular barcode and you wanted to really go and overlay a different kind of AR on it. Like I said, this particular VR is also very advanced. So essentially, it uses a lot of tracking. So it will also be able to sort of give a lot of tracking information based on some of the trackers which is already available, as a part of these advanced phones that you have. So once you have the AR camera, so this particular camera will only be available to you unless you don't have the you will need to really have something called a Vuforia license. So once you go to the Vuforia website and get the license, then you will be able to use it. So let me just show you a little bit of what the Vuforia license is. So this is what a Vuforia developer license is. So essentially, what you do is you go to their website, you get a trial license, and once you go to the trial license, you will be able to develop it within your unless you don't really go and deploy it professionally. You're just using it for your own creation. You'll be able to create a license and you should be able to use it. So the license manager essentially will allow you to develop the application. Otherwise, without the license you won't be. And the second part of it is the target creations. One of the most important thing about AR is that if you really don't have the correct targets, unless you're having a very advanced CV kind of a application, you need to create these targets. So they have a software which allows you to upload these targets and create these targets. So this is what I was some of the prerequisites of building the application. So let's go back to the application once more. So here, once this is available, you can start building the application. And once you start building the application, what do you really know? Do you have to really code a lot? No, you really don't need to code much. What you really need to do is get an image target. So the image target is what we really created, is the image that we printed and downloaded from the website. That is what we really did. And once we had the image target, what we did is we just added an object. So for example, how do you add object? You can just add any 3D object. You can go to an asset store, just look into some kind of free models that you can get there, and you can overlay those free models on the particular scene. So right now we just have a few more minutes, so we can go more detail. Like I said, this is more of a mini workshop. So essentially, once you get the image target, you will be able to get a model. And like I said, earlier we had to write like hundreds of lines of code. You have a lot of scripts here with ready-made utilities, like things like, okay, rotate it, make it fly, make it do this, make it do that. And once you're done, you will be able to run. So this is, Unity gives you an ability to run the application, using in whatever settings that you want to. So you have these different kind of platform that you can run it. Since I built an Android app, you can actually use an Android app and use it, and then run your application and test your application. You can test it in connected to your real phone and test it, or you can actually test it using a different kind of a phone. So that was more or less what my lesson was, what we wanted to really talk about today. We just don't want you to get bored, so we'll just have the session for half an hour. We'll have a half an hour session again next Friday. So let me know what is the interesting stuff that you would like to see or you would like me to go through. So I hope you really enjoyed this session. I would just go back to YouTube, and if you have any kind of questions, just let me know. I'll be able to see those messages, and then I'll be able to answer those messages. So it's just 2 more minutes that we have right now before the stream ends. So if you have any questions, just let me know. You can actually even post the questions later on, and I'll be able to see it and answer it.